amid a huge uproar over a bill that directed private firms in Karnataka to reserve jobs for Kannadigas. The state government is now planning to raise the IT staff, the information and technology staff's working hours to 14 hours per day. The Karnataka State ITES Employees Union said on Saturday that according to the KITU, the proposal to amend the Karnataka Shops and Commercial Establishment Act to facilitate 14 hours of working day was presented in a meeting called by the Labour Department with various stakeholders in the industry. If implemented, the extended work hours will have the biggest impact on Bengaluru, the state capital, known also as the IT hub of India. So, there are questions that people are asking. Is it to leverage the full potential, or is it exploitative? We have seen a few, in fact, top guns as far as the IT industry is concerned, including by Mr. Narayan Murthy, who has gone ahead and had said he advocated 80 hours working week, at saying that a country like India should be working much more. There are others, those who have gone and slammed this move as well. Where do we stand on this? What's the pros and cons of a decision like this, where the world, in fact, many countries are moving towards 4 days working in a week, talking about work-life balance? In a country like India, it's a progressing country. Still, people say that a young country has not reached its full potential. Is this exploitative, or is it to try and leverage the best resources that the country has? Somdata Singh, Indian businesswoman and author of founder and CEO of Kannadigas Global, is also joining us at this moment. Ma'am, welcome. We also have Choco Walipa, CEO V Technologies, Urvashi Verma, Head Talent Acquisition of APAC, is also with us on the discussion. Thank you to all my guests for joining us at this moment. Let me start and understand your positions on this. Miss Singh, where do you stand on this proposal? Is it to enhance and leverage the full potential of the talent, or do you find this, going a bit far, exploitative in nature?
Firstly, thank you for having me. I think, Karnataka government has been able to pull off 2 stunts in a matter of 1 week and getting a lot of prime time. As a founder and the CEO of a big IT company myself, which employs a lot of people, I do not think productivity is equal to number of work hours. I think it's an absolute fallacy. And I'm very surprised and would like to know the name of the people who were from the industry representing this particular proposition, because 14 hours work week is not just exploitative, it is extremely harrowing mentally for any employee. So if they're just looking at a swipe in and swipe out of the organization, and people can watch Netflix in between their work hours or have any other fun and games, then I would like to know that proposition. But sitting in front of a screen trying to get anything done for 14 hours is absolutely not going to be productive in any fashion. So I really do not think this will get passed. And as someone who employs other people and is running an organization, to me, my employees' work-life balance and mental balance is of utmost importance, because anything that impacts their mental well-being is going to impact them physically and thereby impact activity.
Mr. Valiappa, where do you stand on this? And I also want to understand, are we confusing somewhere the number of hours that somebody spends in office to productivity?
Yeah, no, I think, Ankit, the whole thing is, I think, unnecessary in the sense, like if you see, it's a demand and supply in a way. And then I do agree that, productivity is not commensurate with the number of hours you put, because after 8 hours, it's clearly shown that you dip across. And then if you take 14-hour work day and then you add 8 hours of sleep, it comes to 22 hours. So then you're left with 2 hours in the day to do whatever you can, right? So, but at the same time, so all of us talking here are Gen Y and Gen Z or Gen X, like from that example. But the employees in the matter today are Gen Z, right? And sometimes, I've had conversations with my employees on this, and few of the employees, especially who are outside Bangalore, for example, in our center, they feel that if you had a 4-day work week, it actually works good, so that it gives them a chance to go that 200 kilometers or 300 kilometers home or something like that. So that's why I think the whole thing is unnecessary in the sense that the whole thing is demand and supply, and we are in a global industry, and like the previous speaker said, Bangalore is trying to get limelight from that perspective.
Yeah.
I think we need to be harmonious with what the world wants, right? So, and what the customers want. And if the employee feels that they want a 4-day work week and they want to work long hours, it's that employee's prerogative. So who are we to discuss this or not? So I think it's a thing about much to do about nothing from my perspective. So.
Right, but Urvashi, somebody who is acquiring talent, I mean, imagine you putting this proposal to a new employee that, this is the contract, you have to work 14 hours a day, 5 days a week, and, whatever perks that we are giving to you. Do you think that it's a pitch that many of the people that you would be going to or are seeking employment in various companies, this is something that will attract them?
Definitely not. If I pitch this to any of the new talent in the market, definitely I'll get a question back that what is the ethical responsibility of employers toward their employees. There is something which we have to look forward, and employees now are not only looking forward for compensation and things like that, but they are more interested in work-life balance, the kind of opportunity they are getting to innovate. If we put them for 14 hours of working, they will not be able to gain any diverse experience out of work. And then it will definitely reduce a lot of innovation. And innovation is something we are known for as India. We are known for in the world of IT. Apart from my fellow, speakers, what they have told, I totally resonate with them. But I want to add few more points, like even if government wants to make working hours as 14 hours per day, what their plan is for working mothers, for the infrastructure. Do we have enough daycare, elderly care to support working mothers, actually working parents, or anybody who is working, who look after for, their family members?
Yes.
Do we have enough infrastructure in Bangalore or Karnataka so that people can commute easily from their office to work or to school to pick up their kids or to hospitals to take care of their parents? Are we looking forward for those easiness for the people living in Karnataka before putting this plan for them to work for 14 hours?
Right. Before, in fact, Mr. Valyappa has raised his hand, sir, if I can come back to you. Like you were saying, with sleep and 14 hours a day, it comes out to be 22. In a city like Bangalore, 2 hours would be only your commute to work, and coming back from that, you're not left with anything as far as your 24 hours is concerned. But do you get a sense that the government is overcompensating possibly after the last bill that they had come up with, which saw a lot of flack from especially the IT industry? Mr. Narayan Murthy suggested this 70-hour working week that comes out to be 14 hours in 5 days. Do you think the government is sort of trying to overcompensate with what they did with their first bill?
Yeah, I don't know if they are, Ankit, but what I think they should be doing is they should be focused exactly on things like you said, trying to reduce the time of commute. So I don't know, maybe it's a way for them to think that maybe if you have a 4-day work week, the load on the road will be less or something like that, so the traffic can be managed better. That may be their thinking, or the direction of what they're thinking. But I don't think that's going to be the reason, because what they should be doing is trying to focus on infrastructure, roads, how can they improve the metros and stuff like that, so that the quality of life becomes better. Because otherwise they're sometimes I speak to my employees and they're traveling 90 minutes each way, right? So, and some cases even 2 hours, because of the traffic. And the speed of Bangalore traffic is less than 5 kilometers an hour, and then it keeps going slower year by year. So I think that should be the focus of the government rather than tinkering with this. That's my opinion. So.
Right. Ms. Singh, like you pointed out, and I've been repeating this again and again, because when Mr. Narayan Murthy says something, he's an industry stalwart, a man who is known across the globe. A lot of people then question, while everybody else is talking about the burnout, the life and work balance, are we in India? The other argument is that as a young country, we have this decade to in fact unleash and realize our full potential. We are missing out if we are not giving out or doing as much as we can.
Absolutely. Firstly, I think with all due respect to Mr. Murthy, I think the moment he talked about it, there was a huge amount of uproar against him and against his statement because it's not logical. So let's figure out what's logical and what's not. As a country, while we have the highest amount of youth population, we also have to address what Choco talked about, is that we have infrastructure issues. There are a lot of people who are young mothers, young parents. There are a lot of challenges when it comes to just commute and transport, and specifically when it comes to Karnataka. I have grown up here, and I have seen that this place has seen an burst of companies coming and settling here because purely of the weather and other kind of balances that it could provide, the so touted Silicon Valley of India. But if we are going to digress from that concept and forget that a lot of companies have work from home as a policy, there is no way for you to track this number of hours. We are supposed to focus on KPIs. What gets done and what are those key performance indicators that actually enhances productivity by ensuring that the well-being of employees are taken care of. And the most important well-being of an employee is to give them the chance to rejuvenate from this incisive, crazy work culture. We cannot push them towards it. It tends to mental breakdown. And like Choco said, focus on getting the metros done.
Yeah.
Focus on ensuring that certain number of days in a week is work from home, so you're able to downsize on the capacity that you're managing on the resources. We talk about sustainability. Is this sustainability? No. So one, nobody took Mr. Narayan Murthy's statement actually seriously because it's not possible to implement it.
Yes.
I again think this particular proposal that has come forward is gonna not go through. It's not a long-term thing. It's getting a lot of attention right now. Fantastic, great, we're debating, and I'm sure the intellectual capacity of individuals would prevail over these frivolous concepts.
Urvashi, do you think that are these kind of proposals being spoken about because we've seen post-COVID a lot of work from home, many employees after even when the COVID subsided, the rules and regulations were relaxed, are unwilling to come back to the real office environment. There is still this hybrid kind of work mode which is going on. Is there a feeling among the employers that possibly they are not able to track the amount of input that their employees are bringing in if they're working from home, and that's possibly the reason such proposals are in fact being floated, which many are seeing as exploitative?
As per me, we cannot generalize this statement. Every organization is different, and every organization have different needs and performance criteria. As others were saying, that we cannot just directly say that 14 hours of working is going to take us ahead, but we have to stick to KPIs. And I think organizations have accepted the hybrid mode or 3 days working, 4 days working, depending on what is best working for them and how they are getting the right input from the employees. And they are figuring out where they can provide the right work-life balance, flexibility, opportunity to employees to manage their families, to pursue their hobbies, because these are the positive things, and employees always be motivated to look forward for these things. They get an opportunity to do new things in their life, which help them in innovating things at workplace as well, and growing themselves as an individual as well. So I think that is not a general statement. Every organization is different, and global organizations basically are looking forward for more flexibility.
Right. In the end, if it unfortunately for a lot of people and people from the IT sector, if it becomes a law, then the worries are that this will give a legal binding to the kind of exploitative nature that many people feel that they are in fact facing at their workplace. I'm out of time, but I'll give 30 seconds to each of you. If you are, let me start in fact with you, Ms. Singh. If the Chief Minister or the Labour Minister of Karnataka is hearing you right now, 30 seconds to you, what will you tell him?
I think I'm going to just tell, Mr. Siddaramaiah and the Labour Minister one thing. If you are looking at this as a way to get the industry out of Karnataka, then this ploy is working fantastically. But if the focus of the government is growth, if the focus of the government is constitutional growth, then I do not think this is passing beyond this debate. I also would like to enhance, or rather focus on 3 things: empathy, accountability, action. If you do not have empathy for your labor force, they will not be accountable for the deliverables, and thus it's only going to lead to
Right.
unprecedented, absolutely, unaccountable action. So
Okay.
let this be just a debate, and I hope it ends only there.
Mr. Variappa, if you have some
Yeah.
employee, those who come to you and say, we are ready to work 14 hours for 4 days, give us 3 days off, will you be willing to, in fact, take that proposal? Or you think that, there has to be some sort of a work-life balance that people also have to think about, and possibly as a policy, this does not work?
Yeah, no, I think, I mean, continuously 4-day work week, I don't think is possible. But then it's all about flexibility. Like if you think of if you look at in BMW, there are 250 different shifts that are running. 250 shifts that run in a German BMW. That's why, because it's flexible, right? Like, if you look at organizations like Google today, they say you work anytime. Like, you come in anytime, you work anytime, and you go away. So that's the new world. And that's the world that we're going to be living in. And
Yes.
the thing for the chief minister would be like, it's a $250 billion industry. And Karnataka has been lucky to be in the forefront. And if you want to continue to be in the forefront, and have people who are happy, healthy, and with a strong mental health, I think that thing should be given flexibility to the employee to decide and the employer to decide. I think government should get away from business, and that's why IT industry has flourished. One of the main reasons why it's flourished is because we had less government and governance inside it.
Right.
So that's how it spread, and then I think it needs to be continued to be left alone.
Okay, I'm completely out of time. Thank you so much to all three of you. It was a pleasure listening to all of you, and I'm sure a lot of employees from your sector would be very, very happy and relieved that there are people, those who think otherwise with what the government is saying at this moment. If we have to, in fact, reach the global standards possibly, we have to try and inculcate the best practices, not try and do it with, these kind of measures which are seen as exploitative towards the employers. Thank you so much for joining us on this. We are slipping into a very short break. News and updates on the other side. Stay tuned.